Hey y'all, I'm Rugawd, and this is Cute as Fuck. On today's episode, I have Takeo. He is a fashion designer from Tampa Bay area, also making his way into St. Pete. He has impeccable taste in music and fashion and manga. And today, we're going to be making the sand gourd, worn or yielded rather, by Gaara from the Japanese animated television show Naruto.
That fucking boy.
You ready?
No, I'm good.
Lungs of steel here. So you can make it as big as you want. If you want a bigger gourd, you're obviously going to want a bigger balloon. But we want, a modest-sized gourd.
Healthy size.
Healthy-sized gourd. And you just plug that little guy up. Take your other balloon, and you're gonna want to make it smaller. I mean, you don't have to. You can make it the same size, but you're gonna have like not so much a gourd as like a giant peanut. And we don't want a peanut. We want a gourd, right? So we want this one small and the other one just a little bit smaller. Right. So once you've got these, what we're going to end up doing is you're going to cover it in paper mache. So any newspaper is fine. If there's a particular newspaper that you hate, cut that bitch up and let them know who's boss.
Fuck that paper.
Right? So what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna take like a good amount of paper and you're gonna wanna like cut it into ever increasingly smaller sizes. The goal is to have maybe like 2 to 3 inch strips. So this right here, this is probably too much. You can probably take like half of this. So while I'm cutting these up, I just kind of want to talk to you a little bit about your influences.
Yes, sir.
Now, I know in the past you and I have talked about anime and manga at length.
Yes.
You probably know about the recent passing of Kentaro Miura.
This one hurt.
It hurt a lot.
That one really hurt.
If you're not familiar with Kentaro Miura, he was the guy who authored Berserk.
Yes.
And influenced a lot of our favorite manga and anime, and even Western,
culture.
Western pop culture.
Movies,
his influence is pretty much
cartoons.
everywhere.
The writing is phenomenal, but even more so, the art is like fucking mind blowing. And it's one of those things where like, now that Miura is gone, there's no like replicating it. You can't continue it because the key parts of what makes it so great they're gone. They're gone with Miura.
Oh,
I
agree.
I feel like the way, it's kind of the saddest way it had to end, but this is like that ending that nobody can really be mad at because nobody could control.
Right.
So it's just like, it's sad. It really hurts my heart. It really breaks my heart, but this is what it has to be.
So we're going to start covering these guys in our paper mache. So that is why we have these strips. So I'm gonna leave the strips here for both of us to take from. Take your fingers, just get them a little bit wet, and feel free to just coat that little guy in the paste. Just enough so that it's covered on all sides. And what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna lay it across the balloon, just like this.
Okay.
In any direction, doesn't matter. Now see what I've done here? I ripped this guy a little bit. So just be very careful when you're placing it on there because this does rip very easily. And then if you're using like really old newspaper, it's only gonna rip more easily. And so while we're coating this, I do wanna pick your brain a little bit
Yes, sir.
about music. We both have a great loving affinity for Prince,
Yes, sir.
Pharrell,
Yes, sir.
and Frank Ocean.
Yes, sir.
Although I think you more than me on the Frank Ocean tip.
I think they all have a quality of a versatility, and they're all kind of artists that transcend their mediums. I think at a deep down place, that's kind of something that I would kind of strive to do at some point. Not necessarily with music, but with fashion and art and design and things like these, because there's no real limit on like creativity in my opinion. And I feel like all these artists kind of exemplify that to the most.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that. Particularly Pharrell, because Pharrell does have his hands in so many different so many different areas, you know.
That's the goal.
When I look at what you do, you remind me a lot of Nigo, you know, especially with the way that you're handling your fashion brand right now.
Yes.
One of the things that Nigo did that I really, that I think I see a lot of in you is the exclusivity, you know, the exclusivity with his pieces. He wasn't just retailing it to everyone. He managed to get it popular strictly almost through like word of mouth.
Yes.
As well as like his DJing.
Yes.
And that's something that I see that you're beginning to do with your brand. And
Yes.
I just want to know if you can talk a little bit about how Nigo has influenced you in the way that you treat Cowboy.
To put it shortly, Nigo set the groundwork. Everything he has done since his ventures with Bape and even before that, and even after Bape. And I feel like Nigo's one of those people that like his influence is so grand and people don't really know that they're seeing it until like you look at like the credits and you see that Nigo's there. Or you look at like the fine details and you realize Nigo's there. And I kind of admire that, especially from a person who doesn't, like I have no aspirations of being famous or anything of the sort. I really just want to kind of like create to the fullest and just be able to create just unrelentlessly.
How is it that you conceived of Cowboy?
It started off as essentially just experimenting with extra t-shirts I had back when I was at HCC. And I was making t-shirts in the printmaking lab. And from there, I was like, hey, this is kind of fun. And how can I kind of continue to do this? And from there, it led me from starting a studio in a friend's garage and then moving that to a screen printing apprenticeship essentially in somebody's backyard. And we were just pumping shirts out in the backyard. And then that led to the studio where I'm at right now. And it was just kind of like one of those forward progressions. I started it and I just kind of built up momentum experimenting and doing what I was already doing, but having like a platform and a medium to kind of focus my energies through. And that's kind of where Cowboy came into the mix.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap up this little portion of what we're doing. The idea is just for you guys to see how it is that these strips should go. How you doing over there?
I am fucking up.
Oh, it's okay.
I am fucking up. We're gonna make it work, but I am fucking up.
So I really want y'all to see how I took the strips and I just kind of did them all around the ball, right? And then once you do it it's okay, it's okay. So once you get them all around the balloon once, you then turn it on its side and you start to put strips perpendicular to what we've just done. And you're gonna wanna do this at least 6 times. So once you've done this 6 times, you're gonna wanna let these dry probably overnight. At the end of that process, you should have 2 of these. See how this is how they're gonna go together. You know, one smaller than the other. And that kind of looks like Gaara sand gourd a little bit. So what we're going to do now is once they're dried and a little thick, you're gonna go ahead and pop the balloon. And so here we go. Woo. Woo. All right, that's a little harder than I thought. Okay, so it's not really popping, it's just kind of slowly deflating. There we go.
Yo, can I pop the other one?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely, please. And so you're just gonna pull the balloon out, and what you should have is this nice little cask. I think we can call it a cask. So what you're gonna wanna do, they don't have to be really big holes, just enough for you to get a piece of twine in there. You know, we're going to be using this this baker's twine, wherever, yeah, it's right here. This baker's twine to thread it through so that we can thread the 2 little gourds together, right? So that's pretty much all we're going to do there. I think every artist has like a perfect studio, you know, that they have in mind that they'd like to have if they had endless amounts of money or, you know. What would your perfect studio look like?
So I've been thinking about this a lot recently. I want a panini press. I want one of those water boilers, and I want fucking an espresso machine. That, and also a big old bookshelf. I want a huge, like real shit, I want a huge library. Like just a dope library filled with like reference material, magazines, books, all that shit. Like I want the biggest fucking library in my studio. A screen printing station, always need one of those. Maybe like a print making station or like one of those big old hydraulic presses.
All right, so once you've kind of poked those holes in there, you're just gonna take some of this twine. You only need one piece of twine, but just make sure it's pretty long. It doesn't matter if it's too long, you just don't want it to be too short. And you're just gonna thread it through these little holes. And this is what's going to hold the gourd together. If you need to, you can use some scissors or a pencil or just anything to kind of guide it through the holes. Yeah. And then just kind of poke it out the other end. Yeah, see, it's already deforming a little bit. Poor little guy. Like this. And then we're gonna do another one. And while I'm doing this too, I also wanted to talk to you about your favorite piece that you've ever made.
This recent jacket I made has been, it definitely jumped the ranks of like.
Are you talking about that
pieces.
blue one?
Yeah.
I saw you posting that.
Yes. That might be my new favorite. Before that, I had this yellow denim jacket that I was making. I use plastisol ink and I layer it on denim and I throw it through a dryer and it creates these unique textures. And with that process, I made that yellow jacket that I was referencing. I made with that process. Same with the blue jacket as well.
So one thing that I think comes to mind when people hear cowboy is we immediately think of the Western definition of cowboy. Is that kind of what you're going for here, or are you trying to do something different than that?
I feel like there's a lot of room for interpretation with the concept of a cowboy, and that's kind of the area I want to explore, with cowboy being like the catalyst for that and like the vehicle for that exploration. So with that, I want to continue as I'm doing, like experimenting with new techniques and curating events and doing all these different things. I want to keep doing that and exploring with cowboy.
So just cowboy in the sense of an explorer, like going into uncharted territory.
Yeah.
At this point, what you're going to want to do is just tie it up and make sure that it's secure. And then comes the fun part. Let's start painting this guy.
Cool.
What is it that you want people to associate with cowboy?
In the future, I definitely want to take on more events. I want to do more curations, more magazine editions. I really just want to delve my hands into a lot of my interests so I can continue to do what I like to do and like be able to live off of doing what I like to do. And, you know, I love magazines, I love music, I love art, I love all these different things. And I would love to create a life for myself where I can continue to do that fully.
Understood. All right, so we got almost a whole coat on here, y'all. Our sand gourd. How would you rate this sand gourd, man?
I think it's pretty solid.
Pretty solid?
Yeah.
We can still kind of see
did all right.
newspaper. I think so too, you know.
Hand me that 10. Do we need more? Do we need another layer?
I think this is enough for our purposes, you know, for our purposes. So again, I am not a visual artist, so cut me some slack. I primarily delve in the realm of music. This is kind of looking messed up, y'all. But hey, the point is to have fun while doing it, right?
Yeah.
So here we go. This is like one little M thingy. There we go. Yeah, it's like 3 of them, right? Oh man, mine's gonna be a little messed up.
I think they'll get it. I think
everybody
will get it.
I think, yeah. If you're more artistically inclined than I am, then here you go. This is kind of what that's supposed to look like. And then you can add those final accents on this guy, and I think we've got ourselves a sand gourd.
I don't know if I can add it here.
Oh no!
But we can.
Honestly, at this point, you can do no wrong, man.
All right. If I can't do any wrong, I'm gonna give it a low.
Ooh, that
a little.
Put that honey mustard on there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's like a little side rectangle.
It is a little side rectangle, isn't it?
A little yellow side rectangle. I hope I'm not bending that shit.
And so if you're better with your hands and your control than I am, your little accents will come out nicer than this one. But this is essentially it, you know. And once Takeo gets his little rectangle on there,
Yeah.
I think we have our finished product.
No.
Oh, you're doing the little E as well?
Yeah.
All right, yo, yours is looking so much nicer than mine. Damn.
Gotta do something right.
Look at that control, y'all.
Oh, no.
Sheesh. Look at that.
Let's do it.
Fuck, man. That's cute.
Show fucking is. Good enough.
Look at that.
Something.
That deserves a round of applause.
Oh, shit.
All right, so here you go. This is if you are ambitious enough to make this, those are the steps, and this is kind of what it should look like.
I think we did all right.
All right. So, that concludes this episode of Cute as Fuck. Please follow my man Takeo. Give us all your socials. What are your socials?
The page one is Cowboy by Takeo, COWBOY by TAKEO. And the personal one is Blackie Chan, 2 A's, 2 N's.
There you go. That concludes this episode of Cute as Fuck.
Cute as fuck. Thank you for having me.